and shared with lots of wisdom. I love that. So you've got to tell me, I know that you and I both were stamped by Genie, and a lot of folks that listen to this love Genie. So you tell me about your experiences as a friend of Genie's.
Oh my gosh, where do you start, Jane?
I know.
So I guess when I really got to know Genie, I joined our National Speakers Association in 1984, way back when.
Oh,
and it was about 86 or 87. I was going to the convention. And this wonderful, tall, beautiful woman came up to me and she said, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm looking you right in the eye. You look me right in the eye. We're going to go out amongst the people who are here. Keep standing up. Look to see who's about our same height or taller. You tell them we're going to all meet for breakfast on the last day of convention at 6:30 or 7 in the morning. And we started the Tall Women's Group. And I got to tell you, it was a hoot. The most we have ever had, I think, was 26 of us over 6 feet tall.
No way.
No, I'm not kidding. And what's fun is once in a while, one of those little men would come around and try to join our group.
Oh,
and I remember so clearly, I saying to them, I'll see you at the dance. You'll like the view. And we just kept on going. but that's how we started. And here's the funny thing. You know, Genie was an astute businesswoman.
Yeah.
But she had a way of teaching business lessons that honored wherever you were at and took you beyond. And I remember her coming up to me at my very first convention. This was before the Tall Women's Group, never knew her. And I remember her saying to me clearly, if you want to be a professional speaker, you got to quit dressing like a teacher. And I looked down, that's all I could afford. That's all I had. And I said, thank you for the lesson. And so then I started looking around.
Yeah.
And she had a way with a pure heart, because it was in my best interest, the lesson she taught. And here's the funny thing. When we were first gathered, we all go around and we're sharing either a marketing idea or a lesson learned or something. But the number one question way back then was, where do you buy your pantyhose? Everybody thinks the crotch isn't at our knees, but it is. And that's when we learned Tall Girl of Canada and all these other places. Well, we have certainly morphed a lot since then. But she always had a way of welcoming the new ones and even knowing a personal tidbit about people along the way, or asking them a question so they would feel comfortable telling us where they're at and how can we be helpful to them, and continuing the network through all these years. And still to this year, we have that. Now, here's the sad thing, but the rejoicing thing. When she died, she had said to Tony, who was certainly the most astute and wonderful office manager in the world and a good friend, she said, I want to acknowledge the tall women. So she took one, she always held a practice microphone when she'd be practicing her stories and speeches. She had that mounted. And Patrick and Tony came to our Tall Women's Group the summer after she passed away. And we began to share that with a tall woman every year. So I will have it this year to pass on to somebody next year. So we're right now on my desk is Genie's microphone. And I can see it. Holding that microphone, standing up tall or sitting in a rocking chair, depending on what stage in life we're at. And just making the whole world rejoice with humor and laughter and always the story wrapped inside.
Isn't that
I love Genie and I loved Genie. That has not wavered.